There is absolutely nothing in this. Nothing. The president does mention, hey, you had a dirty prosecutor, or you had a good prosecutor. I've heard he was dirty. You had a good prosecutor who was on this. He was looking into it. Then he was replaced at Biden's request. What happened? It didn't seem right to me. The president of Ukraine says, no, we know. We know. And that's one of the reasons why I won. We're trying to clean up all the corruption here. And we are going to get down to the bottom of it because I've just replaced a new prosecutor. I'm going to replace the attorney general, and a new prosecutor is going to be appointed, and that's one of the things they're going to look into. Okay. Well, what is the problem with that? CNN is reporting saying he said it twice. He said
they said he repeatedly came back and asked about it.
No, he said it twice.
That's a repeat.
Oh, my gosh.
Repeatedly.
And the president of Ukraine said, we'd like your help.
Yeah, that's the tough thing here. I mean, Ukraine is...
It's not like this is like... The Ukrainian president was not like, well, I don't know, Mr. President. I mean, that's not something that's on our agenda. I'm not sure. The Ukrainian president, the first time he brings it up, he's like, we know.
Yeah, he said, we know about the issue. Then he goes, on top of that, I would kindly ask you, if you have any additional information that you can provide to us, it would be very helpful for the investigation to make sure that we administer justice in our country with regard to the ambassador to the United States from Ukraine. He was pretty clear that he wanted the help of the president of the United States.
The president wasn't saying, I'm going to not sell you missiles because of, because you won't help. The president of Ukraine was like, I know, we got it. We're on top of it. In fact, we could use your help.
So that's where this goes next, though, right? They're going to say, well, the money wasn't mentioned at all. Then they're going to say, well, now we have evidence that he did withhold the money because this guy didn't follow through on this promise, right? Like that's going to be their next step. In this continual moving goalpost of impeachment, where every single day there's a new thing that's supposed to make it ironclad, that thing falls apart, and then the next day they move to something else. So the next thing is going to be, well, we didn't care about the transcript. The transcript, who cares about what they said on the call? Of course he's not going to say anything on the call, but here's this next bit of information.
So what they're going to say next, because I didn't expect a transcript because this was taken by note takers. It must have been taken by some...
It does say, there's a disclaimer in there, Glenn. I don't know if you saw it. I know you're reading it live on the air.
Yeah.
It says a memorandum of a telephone conversation is not a verbatim transcript of a discussion. The text in this document records the notes and recollections of Situation Room duty officers and NSC policy staff assigned to listen and memorialize the conversation in written form as the conversation takes place. A number of factors can affect the accuracy of the record, including poor telecommunications connections and variations in accent or interpretation. The word inaudible is used to indicate portions of the conversation that the note taker was unable to hear. So it's basically a live transcript.
Yeah.
But they're not guaranteeing 100% accuracy.
So I think they're going to say, we need to hear the tape.
Yeah, right. Yep, you're probably right.
Hear the tape.
They'll go down that road.
Because you don't hear the president's inflections. You need to hear his pauses and his inflections. The way he was saying, we do a lot for Ukraine.
I will say, too, it does not appear that Donald Trump is particularly familiar with the story. As you read the transcript, he does not know the details. He has, generally speaking, the players, and then it keeps saying, hey, you got to talk to Rudy, you got to talk to Barr about this, because they know all about it. He, at one point, says CrowdStrike, almost like it's a question. He's like, they call it CrowdStrike? Right? Like he doesn't seem to be completely in tune with this actual information, which I think works to his advantage politically. I mean, he does not look like he's obsessed about this.
He's not orchestrating. He's telling the attorney general.
It legitimately reads as if someone says, hey, while you're on the phone with this guy, ask him if he's got any information about this. Here's some notes on it. And it looks like it honestly comes off as if he's reading. He says they call it CrowdStrike. Like it's not his information. He's like, this is what people have handed me this document and what they've said. I mean, I think that works to his advantage in this particular situation, right? He does not seem to be hyper-focused on Biden. He seems to be making a request, to make sure that this goes down the road of investigation.
We lost $1.8 billion. It was stolen from the United States. Stolen by the oligarch that happens to own Burisma.
Which he doesn't even know his name, by
Right.
the way. He says, you have a very wealthy
guy.
person.
Yeah. The oligarch that owns Burisma, that Hunter Biden was working for, and Hunter Biden's partner was also working for, they were the ones that were going to help them administer all of the American money, and they'd get paid heavy fees for that. So they were put on the board because they have zero experience in natural gas or anything like this. So they were put on the board. For what reason? That money was transferred into a bank account, and that bank happened to be owned by the same oligarch that owned the gas company, and it just disappeared. And it went off to a whole bunch of offshore accounts, and nobody knows what happened to it. Don't you want to know? Don't you think the president should be asking, hey, what happened to our $1.8 million or $1 billion? What happened to that? Can we make sure that our guys were not involved in that? Because it seems like you had a guy investigating that. He was about to investigate Joe Biden, and then it stopped because Joe Biden said he's going to threaten the money and hold up the money unless you fire him. Well, what was that about? Doesn't that seem like something logical to ask as president of the United States?